Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. And listen, this new event is probably the best event that Genshin Impact has ever had. miHoYo has really outdone themselves with this new event. Now, for those who don't know what this event is, it's called the Labyrinth Warriors. You have to do a bit of an introduction quest and yada 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 and whatnot, and then you get this menu here with Tartaglia, Xinyan, and Paimon sitting on there. And you may be wondering, like, how is it the best event? You're competing with things like the Windbloom Festival, in my opinion, another one of the great events out there. You're competing with Hyakunin Ikki, another phenomenal event out there. You got the Xiao Lantern Festival, you got Theater Mechanicus. You're competing with these events, and you might be wondering, how does Labyrinth Warriors actually compete with those? It competes by having the potential to be the best thing implemented in Genshin Impact ever. Here's what I mean by that. Theater Mechanicus, a great event. miHoYo went above and beyond and added a tower defense game mode to the game. Their one mistake with Theater Mechanicus though is that they didn't make it a permanent thing with potentially resetting rewards, let's say monthly or bi-monthly. That's their biggest mistake with Theater. Even though it was a phenomenal event, they didn't keep it in the game. They make it a recurring event, maybe once every major patch, so every continent release, they'll do one Theater Mechanicus. That was the mistake, they didn't keep it in there. And then the other two events, the Xiao Lantern Festival and the Windbloom Festival, were good events, don't get me wrong. These were amazing events, the Windbloom being personally my second favorite after now Labyrinth Warriors. You know, it having a bunch of minigames, gliding, racing, archery, and music, they were phenomenal. But one thing it lacks is the ability to be implemented into the game as a permanent activity. Now, whilst those, I've now explained why those events aren't great. Now, the reason why Labyrinth Warriors is phenomenal, if you've ever played games like Hades is the big one, Risk of Rain 2, whichever one you're a fan of, Binding of Isaac, there's a few other ones in there, I don't have them on name, but these are the three big ones. These are dungeon crawlers, looters, roguelike. That's what the genre is, and that's what this is. That is what Labyrinth Warriors is. It is a roguelike dungeon crawler, looter, shooter kind of event. And it has the potential to carry the game so hard. Because right now, we are one event into it. Currently, if we go into the trials here, we've only had one of these, with the second one coming out in about 20 hours. We've only had one of these, and I've already done it like 4 to 5, maybe even 6 times now, just to do it. Just to do it. Because it's fun. Because it's changing the gameplay. Now, for most people, the next thing I'm going to mention, it doesn't apply, but there's certain cards in there that will change your gameplay fundamentally. One of the cards in there gives 4 of your characters at random C1, or increases their constellation level by 1. As a free-to-play player, do you know how much fun that is? As a person who doesn't have any 5 stars at Constellation 1, do you know how fun that is? This concept is the reason I think miHoYo can redeem themselves and add an endgame. They can add an endgame. This can not quote unquote be an endgame, but this can save the endgame and make it more. Now, here's what I mean by that. This system, in most games like Hades or Binding of Isaac, is moderately endless repeatable gameplay. You go in there and you try to achieve a high score. Right? You have an endless cycle of different floors and different rooms and different buffs and different enemy scaling infinitely. In those games, that's how it works. And this works similarly for the most part. Currently, obviously, as the event, it's laid out. So whenever you go into this first room, it's laid out all the same. No room is different. You go in there the second time, it will be the same. So that is that. But if they were to expand this and push it further, they could 100% make it a randomly generated room / floor and make it so you have infinite floors. I'm going to put that in quotations. I mean, not actually infinite floors, because, well, it wouldn't actually be infinite floors, because you would get to a point where you can't kill enemies anymore. That you just cannot. Because, hypothetically, let's say, you go from floor 1 to 50 and the mobs only go up by like 50 levels. They go up 1 level per floor. At a certain point, nobody has, it's impossible to do enough damage to kill the enemies at, let's say, floor 70, floor 80, where their levels are like 149 or 160. It would be literally impossible in the game's fundamental place to deal enough damage to kill those enemies. But people would still try. People would go in there, maybe not, you know, on repeat for 19 hours a day, but they'd go in there once a day, once every 2 days. They'd be like, oh, let me give this another go. I'm gonna eat some food, I'm gonna drink some this, I'm gonna slap the enemies around, see what happens, right? They can implement that, because if you think about every other gacha game, Raid Shadow Legends, Immortal Summoners, I've mentioned those many times because those are the games that I play currently. If you look at those, they have some sort of infinite arena. They have some sort of infinite going arena that you just do infinitely. Again, that word infinitely is key here. But you can't ever achieve the highest floor because it's just physically out of reach. But it is there, but it's out of reach. But it gives you something to, like, you know, you poke your hand up, you're trying to reach it, but it's just out of reach. And that's what I feel this could be. They could have, let's say, 200 floors. They could just label it 200 floors, but it's almost impossible to get there. And then as for rewards, because no one's gonna do anything without rewards. I don't care who you say you are or whatever you mean. You won't do something if you're not gonna get rewarded for it. Like, no one's gonna do that. So in terms of rewards, they don't even have to go above and beyond. First 20 floors you get Primo Gems, somewhere there. Maybe every 5 floors till floor 20 you get some amount of Primo Gems, and then after that you get Hero's Wit, Mora, and Ore Enhancement. Simple, very simple. They just give you some sort of reward per floor count. Obviously the same system of buffing, same system of getting charms, enemy scaling, exploration, and the room generation is all completely random, but there's a set amount of floors you can get. And let's say it increases, the amount of floors or the amount of rooms per floor you get increases with the amount of floors that you've cleared. Now that sounds kind of complex, but it's really not. On a fundamental level, it's not. It's just a bit of code multiplying. I 100% guarantee it. I could probably write the code if I had any amount of coding knowledge. But this has just been a small video trying to outline what I think about the Labyrinth Warriors event. This event is phenomenal. I love this event, and I can't wait to go into the other floors, which are going to get a bit harder, a bit easier, whatever it is. I can't wait to get inside, because you can see here, the enemies on this floor and the bosses on this floor are super easy. On the first one, you're dealing with the Ruined Greater, right? But let's go to the next one. Oh, Cryo Hyperstasis. Oh, the Heralds and Lectors. Oh, Magu Kenki. Oh, Pyro Hyperstasis. So it has potential. It has potential. That's all I'm going to say for now. This has so much potential, and I urge the community to kind of voice their opinions on this event and just say that it's a good system to be added to the base game as long as it's expanded and constantly evolving. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Also consider subscribing down below. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to stay notified of when I upload another video. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.